People are as unique and varied as the snowflakes you see drifting down from the sky in the middle of winter, or the coarse sand that hugs your feet when you walk on the beach. It's a harsh truth that not everyone will be compatible with you, and it is not so much a problem as when you force yourself to like someone who is clearly not for you. It's okay to have different views in life. Not everyone is the same. Everyone reacts differently to the world around them. But there will always be deal breakers that you should recognize on the get-go. These characteristics may be rooted in insecurity, a lack of self-esteem, and a bruised ego. Nevertheless, they should not be tolerated. For once you tolerate them, it will only lead to you being dragged in the dirt and emotionally flatlined. Join us as we discuss, decipher, and hopefully help you decide who is the best fit for you. Do note that a lot of these characteristics are taken in a generalized context. As always, it is wise to communicate your deal breakers with a potential romance and always be sincere. Before we proceed, do not forget to leave a like, and if you want more videos, do subscribe to our channel. Here are a few cruel truths about women who should be avoided. Number 1. They are toxic. Here's one characteristic of women that should be avoided. They are very toxic. Being a toxic person can come in many forms, some not as serious as others. In this instance, we will focus on women who are emotionally abusive, manipulative, and controlling. Emotional abuse is when someone purposely harms, isolates, and frightens you in a non-physical way. They may intimidate you, be dismissive towards you, be unabashedly critical towards you, and so on. They can even threaten you with self-harm if it calls for it. This can potentially damage you emotionally, thus the term, and even leave you feeling unloved and worthless. Some women are also manipulative, influencing your every decision subconsciously. They will feed you with ideas and make them think they are your own, just to keep you leashed to them. They are masters of mental gymnastics, able to weave the most insane stories in order to keep you down and make sure you won't leave them. There are also women who are controlling. They will do everything in their power to control every facet of your life. They want to know where you are at all times, what time you go home, who you are with. They will make it a point to interfere with every decision you make in your life. Being with someone who has one of the characteristics mentioned will not only destroy you emotionally, but they can also lead to financial ruin for you, physical altercations, and can sometimes even lead to mental breakdowns. So it is best to distinguish these traits from other traits as early as possible. Be open, but always be on your guard. Number 2. They are always negative. Depression is a serious issue that needs to be addressed immediately in any relationship. It is a sad reality that a lot of people have it, and we can't blame them. Life is difficult to some. However, we should remember that it is not our job to take on the burden of someone else. Dealing with depression is as complex as it is difficult. People having various symptoms and react differently to those around them. The most common of which is the constant feeling of negativity or pessimism. Again, it is important to understand that it is not their fault that they feel this way. It is an illness after all. But being with someone who is always negative and does no effort to alleviate the negativity can only lead to suffering for both parties. They will, in all likelihood, affect everyone around them. The best thing that you can do to someone who is having a hard time coping with their hardship of life is to guide them, be with them, talk to them. Their healing is not your responsibility. It is theirs and theirs alone. Understand that they have their agency and that they should be accountable for their actions. Number 3. They lack empathy. The harsh reality of life should evoke a sense of empathy to everyone. However, this is not always the case. Some women, much like men, who through different upbringings and experiences suddenly lose the ability to have empathy. It is very hard to communicate someone who has no empathy at all. They will commonly only see through their eyes and no one else's. They will always think that their opinion is the only correct opinion. People who lack empathy are also very susceptible to being abusive, manipulative, and controlling. There's not much that you can do with someone who lacks empathy. Understanding them can only lead to so much, and it usually ends badly. Again, it is not your responsibility to make them empathetic or so on. They should be the ones to decide that. Do not deprive them of their agency. Understand that some people are raised that way and they are the only ones who can free themselves from that thought process. Number 4. They are narcissistic. A narcissistic woman should be avoided at all costs. Their narcissistic tendencies can and will fuel destructive behaviors that will leave their partners, or even their friends, a smoldering wreck of self-doubt. A narcissist only believes in themselves and no one else. They see others as pawns that can be used to further their way in life. Everyone is an object to them. As such, they can be controlling, manipulative, dismissive, abusive, and overall, non-empathetic. They should not be reasoned with or talked to until they rid themselves of that way of thinking. Narcissists usually have traumas that they hide, and such should be healed. This responsibility once again falls on them and not you. Number 5. They are very jealous. It's normal to feel jealous sometimes. Of course, it's only natural that they want what other people have too. Be it material, romantic, or emotional jealousy. It's impossible for one person to not have felt any of this in their entire life. However, jealousy has its boundaries. A woman who's overly jealous of anything and everything is someone you should steer clear from. They will attempt to get things that you have, money, property, even emotional stability, for their own. Insecurity is the biggest driving factor for jealousy. They will refuse to celebrate other people's successes and will always exhibit an aura of unnecessary competitiveness that is both harmful and tiring to those around them. Number 6. They like to play victim. Playing victim is an offshoot of manipulative behavior. It is tied to a lack of responsibility, awareness, and overall, a total absence of empathy. Women who love to play victim do this to avoid accountability for their harmful actions and decisions. They will avoid talking about what they did and will instead talk about how they are hurt by accusations thrown at them. This unwillingness to be accountable for their deeds is a testament to their immaturity and insecurity. They will also gaslight anyone who asks for them to be responsible for their actions. It is best to stay clear away from them. Number 7. They are dishonest. Honesty and openness are the primary ingredients of a healthy relationship. If one is dishonest, then every single building block of the relationship will eventually fall and shatter. Someone who is dishonest will not be able to foster a healthy dynamic in any relationship, and they will quickly erode the trust given to them. There may be reasons why someone is dishonest. Maybe they are hiding something they are ashamed of. Maybe they are not ready to talk about it. Whatever it is, it should be treated with an open mind and an open heart. It is very easy to deal with dishonesty. One need only be nurturing and forgiving. However, if this dishonesty happens often, then maybe it is time to rethink our judgment of a person. And there you have it. The most common characteristics of women who should be avoided. The severity of these characteristics varies between people, and some of them can usually be avoided and even corrected. However, be reminded that it is not your responsibility to correct them. It is their flaw, and it is theirs to fix. The only decision you need to make is if you should avoid them or stay with them as they try to embrace accountability and heal themselves. If you found this video helpful, please don't hesitate to share it to a friend in need. As always, deal with everything with sincerity. Until the next video.